happens for a reason, but I cannot see a reason at all. Would you love me when I'm far away from you? Would you love me when all you got is photographs of us kissing in your favorite sporty town? Would you love me when I'm gone up to the stars? Would you love me when all you got is paragraphs that I wrote before we even said goodbye? I don't wanna say goodbye. All I wanna do is try to get you out my head, over to my place tonight.
Hey there everybody, and welcome to the Point Blank Bachelor of Science Music Production and Software Engineering degree webinar. My name is Luke.
And I'm Dr. Chris Nash, the program leader.
Thanks for joining us, Chris. And today really is an opportunity for you to find out more about our Muse course, or music production and software engineering. So we've got a great webinar in store for you today. I'm going to be going through a bit more information about the course itself and some general information about Point Blank. We've got a video about the course itself with Chris. And we also have a great little sneak peek of our brand new campus facility, which we'll be showing you a little later on. Thereafter, we're going to be doing a bit of a deeper dive into the course with Chris today. So looking at each of the modules and what you're going to be learning throughout the program over the 3 years. And you're going to be doing a bit of a demo for us later on,
a little
right?
synth demo, yeah, we're going to make a synthesizer.
Awesome. At the end of today's webinar, we're going to be answering your questions live as well. So you'll notice to the right of your screen, there's a little chat box. Get your questions in the chat box there, and we'll be answering those live at the end of today's webinar. My colleague John's going to be manning that. So any questions you can think of about the music production and software engineering degree, chuck them in there. Also, you know, one of the great things about coming and studying with us at Point Blank is we welcome students from all over the world. So do let us know where you might be logging in from today. We'll give you a shout out a little later on. Yeah, so without further ado, I think we'll get started off with a quick video about the course itself. Take a look at this.
The music production and software engineering course, also known as Muse, looks not only at how we use technology in advanced ways, but how we make it.
Music software engineering is about creating tech products that are going to help people to create
issue there. I'm going to try and restart that, and let's just see what's going on. Hopefully it's not a complete computer meltdown, which it looks like it might be. Just bear with us 1 second.
This is the Steve Jobs effect.
It could be, yeah, I'm not sure. I guess maybe we'll start off by maybe talking a little bit about Point Blank. I do think that, yeah, my machine is just not very happy right now.
Certainly PowerPoint seems to have, there we go.
So yeah, maybe we'll start off by finding out a little bit about you, Chris.
Absolutely. So,
tell us a little bit about yourself and what you teach here then.
well, I have many hats. So I'm a composer and I'm a developer, professional software developer. So I've worked for the BBC, I've worked for Steinberg, who make Cubase. And so I come from both backgrounds. You know, I play the violin, but also did a computer science degree and a PhD. And basically, when I was doing my computer science degree, which wasn't at all about music, it was a bit dry, a bit abstract. And it wasn't until I discovered what you could do with computer music, and especially once you start making your own software, that it really it blew the top off. And I just started after that, devoted my life towards it. And teaching it is I find an incredibly creative approach. So I just want to spread all the amazing things that you can do, especially with software. And you know, software can be tricky. It feels like a challenging, daunting thing. So we've gone really out of our way to make it a lot more accessible. And you know, we teach C++, which is the industry standard in audio. Also, what Windows is written in. It's a proper computer science course, but you'll be making synthesizers and effects and things like that. and hardware. We'll be playing with hardware and yeah.
Sounds fun. I think we've got some of that here.
Yeah.
Well, look, whilst you were telling us about that, I think my computer's back online. Crisis averted. A little hiccup there, but we're going to give Take Two another chance with the informational video about
that
the
was
course.
just a beta test.
Yeah. So let's have a look at this. Take Two.
The music production and software engineering course, also known as Muse, looks not only at how we use technology in advanced ways, but how we make it.
Music software engineering is about creating tech products that are going to help people to create better music.
Musicians and producers and sound designers can make sounds that we've never heard before.
For me, being able to create music and be able to create the tools that are used to make music, it just really excites me.
The ability to unite, for instance, visuals with lighting, with spatial audio, and developing softwares to connect those different environments. There's a whole realm of softwares just waiting to be developed. That's a huge market.
You will be in demand from a wide variety of companies that are looking for software developers. You can really be as creative as you want.
What's really powerful is to be in an environment where you're with other students and with tutors and technicians who bring so much information and such a body of knowledge for you to tap into.
They're going to have ideas. They're going to, know that there's something they want to create within music and within technology, but they might not know exactly how to go about doing that. And with that education, all these doors kind of open up.
What it gives you is the structure around yourself to put you in the best position to succeed.
Now would be the time to get into those technologies and start investigating them. There's nothing to stop an individual creating something that's equally as powerful as a technology company.
With the skills you'll learn on the course and the ability to code and make technology, you could be the one who has the next great idea, the next theremin, the next gestural control interface. It's literally possible on this course.
Cool. So there you have it. Hopefully that's given you a bit more of an insight into the course. We are going to be obviously doing a bit more of a deeper dive very shortly. Whilst we're watching that though, I know that a few of you have let us know where you're logging in from today. So it's a quick hello to Alexander, who's in Venezuela. Thanks for joining us. We've got Johnny in Loughton, a bit nearer to home. Daniele in Belgium, and Thomas up in Glasgow. So thanks for joining us today. If there is anybody else, let us know where you're logging in from. Obviously we're here at Point Blank HQ in London, and we can't wait to welcome you on the course. Now, next up I wanted to go into a bit more detail about just Point Blank in general and about the Bachelor of Science honours degree that is the Music Production and Software Engineering degree. So this particular degree is validated by Middlesex University. Middlesex essentially quality assure and accredit all of our degree level programs here at Point Blank. But everything is developed and it's delivered by us here at Point Blank. So you've been very much involved in the development and design and creation.
And we've created it from scratch to be something very new, actually.
Brilliant. This is a 3-year pathway, so it follows the sort of traditional university pathway that you might expect at any other institution. And we have the one start date each year, which will be in October. So we have a start date coming up this year in 2025. We're accepting applications. So yeah, get your skates on, apply right away, and we hope to see you on the course very soon. Next up, a question, something I wanted to talk about, which is a question we get all the time, is about study modes and the timetable for the course. So, like all of our degrees, this will be a full-time program. It will require you to come in for 2 sessions per week, but on top of that, you would be expected to, put in extra work, collaborate with other students, work on your assignments, coursework, any personal projects that you might be developing, in conjunction with the course, anything that's going to help you obviously ensure that you get the best grades possible as a result of your studies here. Classes are taught either in the mornings or the afternoons, and you have 7 days a week access to our entire studio complex. So make the most of it whilst you're here. It's one of the reasons why I love working at Point Blank, is I've got great access to great studio facilities that I wouldn't otherwise be able to get access to. Unlike a lot of other universities as well, what's different with us is that we don't have big lecture halls with hundreds of students. We like to work in a much smaller setting, up to 16 students, and all of the equipment is provided for our students in the classrooms. So you get lots of focused attention with the lecturers, with our teachers, with people like Chris, who are here to listen to your work, to help you improve, guide you, give you feedback, really ensure that you're learning everything that's being imparted on the course. So let's look at what's included as part of being a Point Blank student. You get studio lab meetings. So these are sessions that you would have access to with our studio technicians, as well as regular personalised tutorials with the lecturers. So this is additional one-on-one sessions that you would have with our teachers. You'd have access to our world-class virtual learning environment, or VLE as we like to call it, which is an online portal that you would have access to all your course materials. You've got downloadable templates, samples, notes, you can upload your assignments. Everything happens through this online portal, essentially. One of the things we also like to do a lot of here are guest lecturer masterclasses and lots of events. So we try and engage you as much as possible throughout your studies to ensure that you're really maximising your time here at Point Blank. Students also have access to student support, wellbeing and counselling services. So if there's anything you need help with, go and see the student support team and they'll be more than happy to help. Another thing that's quite unique about this course is the Muse development kit. Chris, do you want to tell us a little bit about what this all is and what students will get with their course?
So, I mean, obviously we're working with computers and you'll be working with Macintosh computers, you'll be working with Windows machines, both of them. So we want to make sure you have access to both. So we give you a laptop as a development platform. It's a pretty powerful laptop. It runs Windows 11 and has all the software that you need to code on, Visual Studio, some of the tools that we've developed for the course. But then we've also, because our laptops it's an expensive thing and you might be afraid to play with it and experiment with it, we give you a mini PC as well, and this is actually
So two computers.
Two computers.
Not bad.
So the idea with this one was that it would be actually really, really slow and not very good.
Right.
But it's actually quite good.
Okay.
And the idea basically is that you write good code, but also because it is small and is relatively cheap, you shouldn't be afraid to play with it and experiment with it and hack it and break it. And so the other aspect of that is to get physical, we give you basically this programmable input device, which will develop into music input, MIDI controller. We could develop it into a small Ableton Live or something like that. And the idea is that we explore the physical realm of computing. And add to that, there's a little sound card, which ensures that you get some really quality audio, because we're going to be listening very precisely to audio, and all the software that you'll need. And of course there's the Muse Lab as well, which is a properly nice space. Awesome,
and I think you'll actually be demonstrating this later on, so you get to see it in action. So yeah, that's everything that's included with the course. So loads of free kit to get you started. Next up, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the Point Blank ecosystem. So one of the best things about coming and studying with us here is your access to a wide range of students studying all manner of different subjects that we teach here at Point Blank. So we also teach music production, sound engineering, vocal performance, DJing, music business. And so there are other students looking to break into the music industry in one area or another that you can collaborate with, that you can work with. So it might be, as a computer programmer, software engineer, developer, that you might be working with a music producer who's looking, for a particular sound, and you might be able to create a plugin or a synthesizer that will, enable them to create that sound. So you can work closely with, producers, with sound designers, with sound engineers. There's so many ways that...
Yeah, make your own synthesizers, effects, basically. You can create any sound you can think of, and you don't need to, reliant on off-the-shelf software anymore. So you can work with an artist who wants a new sound.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's loads of options and there's loads of great ways to collaborate and engage with the ecosystem here at Point Blank. Another thing that we really like to focus on here is networking and helping our students into industry opportunities. So we're always looking to connect you to the music industry. It's more than just the course. You come and study with us for 3 years, but we want you to then go on and become the future of the music industry and start finding work as professionals in the music industry. There is a music production portion to the course as well. So one of the things that we offer is, listening sessions, student showcases where you can show off your music. We try and connect you to record labels, for instance. And we'll also bring in guest artists and industry experts to come in and do talks and seminars and workshops.
And as we'll see when we talk about the course is very closely integrated with industry, the software industry. So you'll have opportunities to network with the manufacturers and things who we've designed the course with.
Absolutely. In fact, I think our next slide looks a little bit at industry partnerships. And you mentioned earlier to me, Chris, that we're doing stuff with Ableton, for instance, Focusrite, I believe, Roland.
Yep.
And other partners, through software.
There's been a significant amount of interest in the course because the industry's really thirsty for people who have skills in audio and in software. And those are two kind of complex areas where you can spend a lot of time becoming expert, but they're looking for both. And the intersection of people who have both of those skills, eeny peeny.
Yeah, awesome. Well, look, I've got a great little video that I'd like to share with you, taking a look at our brand new facilities, which I'm very excited about. But just a quick hello to Jack, who's from the Isle of Man. Welcome. And to Gifu Boy, who's all the way over in Tokyo. It must be pretty early in the morning, maybe over there. But thanks so much for joining us. But yeah, one of the exciting things about Point Blank is this past September in 2024, we opened our brand new facility, which we'd love to show to you right now. So take a look at this awesome video. Not bad, huh?
That's awesome.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I know that you've been working in the brand new Muse classroom.
Indeed, yeah.
It's been nice to get in there.
Yeah, so we've souped up one of the classrooms to have both Mac and Windows machines in every terminal, dual screens, MIDI controllers. Each one's got one of these Muse IOs. Yeah, it's a great place to work in.
Awesome. I'm super excited about the new building. It really is incredible and state of the art. And if you can, I definitely recommend coming down and actually checking out the place. We run weekly tours, so if you'd like to come down and take a look at all of the facilities, do sign up for one of those. And we run regular open days as well. So I think our next one's coming up on the 22nd of March. We'd love to see you there. Do sign up and we can show you around in person. Now, I've also been seeing that there's quite a few questions coming in. Thanks for putting those in the chat room. Keep them coming. We will be answering those live at the end of today's webinar. So any more questions you can think of about this course, about Point Blank, let us know. We'll be more than happy to help. But for now, I think we wanted to kind of go into a bit more of a deep dive about the course and yourself, Chris. So I know that at the beginning we had a little technical difficulty and we found out a little bit more about you. Yeah, you've been sort of working for all of these partners, right? And also been an academic for quite a few years now.
Music technology and how I found coding.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting working, professionally and having that kind of. I'm a software developer and I know the code and know the back, but also that other side. I'm an artist. I know what people want from it, and so yeah, you come in and you'll get both sides of that with this course.
Awesome. So next up, I guess we're kind of looking at sort of how this course sort of intersects three different areas or disciplines, looking at music production, computer sciences, software engineering.
That's right.
It's quite unique in that sense. Are there other courses like this?
So, you'll find courses which are music computing or music informatics and things like that, and to a certain extent, some music technology courses have a little bit of coding or signal processing at some point, but you won't find a course like this. This course is entirely devoted towards professional practice.
Right.
So, for example, we teach C++ because that's the only language you learn used in professional practice, and plug-in development and things like Juice. So there's the music side of things, there's the production side and the sound engineering, and there's the computer science side of things, the coding and so forth. But there's also the engineering, which is kind of how do I make a project, whether to design a new piece of technology and get it from start to finish and things like that. And we'll have industry come in from all of these industries basically and talk about their perspectives and how the challenges they face too.
Okay. So let's look at the music production and software engineering degree. Obviously, it's about helping students design new music technology.
Yeah, I think that's where it really stands out from other music technology courses, which are about advanced uses of music technology. We're now creating the music technology. So we make new synthesizers, new effects, but also whole applications. So you could be the person who makes the next Pro Tools.
Okay, so yeah, it could be a DAW, it could be a synth, a plugin, or generative music. I think you've been involved in projects like that as well.
That's right. So actually the first module you'll do on the course, we'll learn the kind of principles of computer programming by writing music as code. And so music that can generate itself, algorithmic music, procedural music, music that can adapt to different inputs and things like that. But it will give you a grounding in what programming is before we move in a very second module into basically synthesis, effects, and C++.
Awesome. Software engineering is obviously another part of that, and I guess there are transferable skills from studying this course that you can apply to other areas of the computer sciences industry.
Audio programming is a really interesting area because it's computer science, but it's advanced computer science. So we're talking about real-time systems that cannot fall over. They're safety critical systems, they're high performance. So at the end of this course, you'll be as good or possibly better than if you'd done a straight computer science degree, because you'll be doing these kind of hard maths and hard ways. We make it accessible, but you'll be ahead of the crowd.
Brilliant, and obviously it is very sort of practical in its nature.
Yes,
students aren't just going to get bogged down in boring theories
and abstracts, concepts and things like that. No, we explore every concept in the context of audio or music. And one of the other things is that it's software engineering. So it's about making something. It's about, it's not just about, here's a concept from AI. No, let's prototype something and make something and see how industry does it so that you're ready when you take that leap into the industry itself.
Okay, and you mentioned earlier on as well about it being developed with the industry. I know that we partnered up with, a lot of the main players out there, and how did they kind of get involved with us?
From the very start, basically. So we developed the curriculum, and then we immediately started engaging with industry about what they need, where the gaps are, what they see as a problem with current courses and things like that, and where the future lies. What's the emerging technologies, what's the emerging practices, and it really is about what don't people know when they go for that job interview, and designing the course so that they have it, basically. But it's also not about waiting for graduation. It's about bringing industry in that final year, so that the students will learn from experts in masterclasses. The industry will set different projects. They will teach us about the emerging technologies like AI and how they want to use them. Possibly problems that they don't know the solution to will actually involve students in projects in those areas and prototyping and challenges.
It sounds super exciting. So we've got, I guess, a bit of an overview of basically all 3 years. So they break down into level 4, level 5, level 6. So level 4, you'd say, is sort of an intermediate kind of view of the course. Looking at the entry requirements, I think we've actually got a question here from Lola, who wants to know what the entry requirements are.
Yeah.
So what are we looking for here?
And so Johnny was also asking about how much maths you needed to get into the course.
Oh yes, that's right.
And the answer is basically you don't need an A level in maths, but you need a GCSE in maths, and we will teach you the core concepts that you need in maths.
Yeah.
But we also do not require you to have coded before, because I know that the kind of people's exposure to programming and coding is very variable. You might not have had the opportunity, and so we assume you're starting from scratch. And the first module is computational thinking. So it's basically, we're going to try and rewire your mind.
Right.
And it's not just about you thinking logically and calculatingly and analytically, it's about having the confidence with code. So that when we dive into, already in that second module, C++, and we can make plugins already. We can make synthesizers and effects and things like that.
Awesome. So it looks like each of the years are kind of divided into two parts, or there's sort of two different disciplines that we're looking at. There's the music production, kind of music creation side of things, and then there's the software engineering, computer programming side of the course.
Yeah, so in this diagram we've got here, you've got the slightly the darker shade is the music production side, and so it's getting the most out of the technology, but also understanding the kind of use case and what actually happens in the studio, and then we're making the technology in the brighter ones.
Cool. Also to mention, we do offer our audio processing course, I believe, and music production courses as shorter courses if you're interested in maybe trying them out before committing to a degree. We just had a course start last week.
That's right.
Which you're teaching here.
It's going very well. Basically, it's the audio processing course, which is called audio programming, and basically you'll learn the kind of start of C++, and you'll be making plugins. And so actually, it's like we make 10 plugins in 10 weeks. From FX and synthesizers and things like that. So you can take that module on its own, or you can take it with the music production as part of a combined award.
Awesome. So let's move on to year 2 or level 5. What are students going to be tackling in this year?
From the computing point of view, by the end of the first year, you'll have a pretty good grounding already in C++. You'll feel confident with it. You'll know the tools and the language. So what we do now is we go deeper into the topics, and we have a whole module which is just looking at effects processing. And you're taught every type of effect there is, compressors, reverbs, and you'll do professional sounding versions of each of them. Then we have one which is basically the synthesis cousin of that, and we'll look at all the forms of synthesizers, but we'll also look about how you make a piece of technology expressive, so how you control it and get the best sound out of it. And then that final module there is you're making whole apps. So we'll learn about Juice in that, and Juice is one of these industry standard technologies that's really important.
That's what a lot of those partners work on. Is that the same sort of platform that they use?
Uses Juice. Products like Max MSP are written in Juice. Normally, that might be half of products today are written using Juice, but it's challenging, and so we very, very carefully designed the course to lead up to it and kind of develop your confidence with code so that you're ready for it. And on this course, with the emphasis on software, quite often it doesn't appear on other courses, music technology courses, and if it does, it only appears at that last moment in the last year. So by this stage, you'll be a very capable developer by the end of the second year.
Brilliant. So moving on to the sharp end of the course, level 6. This is really sort of the professional side where we're preparing students for the industry. The professional portfolio is one of the big elements here. So I take it students are working towards a final project, is that right?
That's right. It's your dissertation, your final year project, except in the context of this course, it's invent something. Okay. It's a project, and it is not, so a lot of programs, courses would be, let's make a piece of technology and just prototype it, proof of concept of it, and basically if you look at it in the wrong way, it won't work.
Right.
This is going to be about professional practice, so we'll make something that's robust, ready for market, and you'll learn about what we call end-to-end development, which is from inception and invention to testing and quality and user tests and things like that.
Cool. And I think essentially all of these kind of relate to helping students get into the industry, right?
Yeah.
These are transferable skills that they can use to start finding jobs, start working for the partners we mentioned earlier on.
At the end of the second year, you'll have a very good grounding in the technologies and the techniques.
Yep.
So now what we do is we start looking at the advanced things. So in emerging technologies,
Yep.
We'll have experts from industry come in and tell us about what's going on in AI at the moment, how they want to use it, what's going on with GPU audio and whatever's on the horizon.
Yeah.
And you've got another module there, software
engineering
projects, which is basically how do you run projects. And there's a lot of skills there and a lot of knowledge that you need to get a job that, actually most of the time a graduate wouldn't know this.
Yeah.
And so what it means is you can hit the job market not as a graduate software developer, but more as a kind of more senior, junior software developer. So.
Cool. And then industry collaboration, I think, is another industry kind of
Absolutely.
related module.
We have a little fun with that one, actually.
Right.
So
Tell us more.
basically, we want you to focus on the professional portfolio most of the time. So this is what we call a short and fat module. It's basically very, very intense. It's a hackathon.
Okay.
And so the industry will come in and set us a challenge that they probably don't know the answer to. And the students will work in teams, basically, to solve that challenge. And industry will judge it, we'll mark it, but industry will judge it. And it's a prime opportunity to network and get familiar with the people you might end up working for.
Amazing.
And to show off.
That sounds really good fun. Okay. Well, a question that I'm sure many of you would like the answer to as well is, well, sort of what careers are available after having completed this course. So what might a student go on to do once they've graduated? What sort of careers can they expect to find from studying this course?
Anything involving a deep knowledge of technology, you'll be well placed for. So obviously, a software developer, you could go away and work for some of the big organisations. It's very common these days to work independently as a freelance plugin developer and make synthesizers and things like that. And there's a lot of startups out there that are looking for people who know both audio and technology. But also that depth of knowledge enables you to work with artists who are looking for new sounds, kind of a fresh way of doing things. You're not tied to what you can buy or what you can dial up from the presets. So you actually have artists like Imogen Heap, for example, who are actively engaging with people who are inventing or shaping technology just for them.
We're creating her
Mimu gloves.
Mimu glove. Yeah, you should check that out if you haven't seen it. It's quite fun.
But that kind of knowledge in a studio is invaluable as well. You literally will know how computers think, so you can just get so much more out of computers, even if you're just using them, because you know how to learn something, and get more out of it.
I think also that there's a good sort of plan B type option as well available to students. If things in music maybe don't always work out, you've got some fantastic transferable skills in terms of software development and
especially that last year
programming.
is about rounding you out as a kind of technical expert. So it will start looking at the human side of things with user interface design and web design and things like that. So there's a lot of different industries and professions and specializations that you'd be able to go in with the skill set you have.
Cool. So hopefully that's given you a bit of a better idea about industry careers and about the course itself. We do have some more questions that have come in, so thanks very much for those. Keep them coming. Hopefully we've answered a few of them already, but we'll get to them very shortly. But next up, I think we're going to have a bit of a look into what a student might actually learn. So you've got a bit of a demo for us, and you're going to go into, I think, creating a synth lead.
Yeah, so we did a little workshop at the end of last year. We just made a distortion effect, and we made what's known as a supersaw plugin. And this is a classic trance sound that you'll recognize, because we're effectively going to make a synthesizer from scratch and then use it to play a hopefully recognizable trance anthem.
Awesome.
So what I'm going to be doing at the end, we'll be performing it on this. So I've got, you can see the screen here. This is actually running a digital audio workstation called Reaper, much the same as any others if you've tried them, like Logic and Cubase. And what we've got here is one of the technologies we use on the course, which is Clang Studio. And this is how we introduce C++ by allowing you to actually develop C++ synthesizers and effects inside the digital audio workstation. And that's what we're going to do here. And so you can see I can control the plugin there. But you see this plugin's a bit special because it's got an Edit C++ button. And that allows us basically to write the source code of the plugin inside the door.
Yeah, I can see there's a lot of
So here,
lines of code there.
the
that look
matrix code on the right
unfamiliar
here.
to me.
So don't worry if you don't get everything. I'm going to do probably in about 10 minutes something that I would, take about 3 hours, slow on the course. But you'll very, very quickly get the gist of this. And I'll try to talk us through as we go. So what this is this is the code for the whole plugin, okay, for the whole synthesizer here. It's not, as you can see, not a lot.
Yeah, okay,
and we've just started up with a basic plugin. I've given it 3 dials. You can see we spec them at the top here. And I've connected the attack up already. So we've given our synth, it's got a sine wave oscillator, which we'll replace with something more interesting in a second.
Okay.
An ADSR envelope called ADSR. And the ADSR basically has got an A, D, S, and R argument, but we're taking the first one, the attack, we're taking from the first control. So if you can hear that, it's fast attack. If I move the control up, basically, the connection there, we're going to go for something punchy, so I'll probably leave that at fast attack.
Cool. For trance, you need that generally.
Absolutely, for a lead especially, maybe for a pad would be, but the most important thing is the audio process, and that's entirely encapsulated down here. Don't worry too much about this latter section, that's just controlling the ADSR. This is what's going on in the plugin at the moment. It's basically sending the oscillator to the output. And our sine wave is going straight to the output, and that's what we hear.
Cool.
Okay. Not too
Pretty
complicated.
simple signal path there.
Yeah, and that's the wonder of this technology, is that it's designed, even though it's C++, to make signal paths and things like that really evident. So it's a great place to learn audio. So first of all, let's swap it over to a saw wave. We're making a super saw, and the super saw is basically made on 7 stacked saw waves that are slightly detuned.
Okay.
And that's what we're going to do here. So first thing we've done, I've swapped my sine wave to a saw wave. Bingo. And you see it's all inside the door. I haven't had to restart or anything like that, and all the tools we need are built in. So, as I say, we need 7 of them. So I turn this into array by just putting 7 after the declaration there. And now we need to go through and change our code so that it addresses those 7 oscillators instead of just the 1. So the audio process is actually one of the simplest bits. We just want to mix all 7 oscillators together.
Okay.
So I'll take the code we have at the moment.
Copy and paste.
I copy and paste, old friend. Now we could do this a better way with a for loop, and I'll show you a for loop in a second. One of the coding concepts you'll learn on the course, but here I'm just adding each of the individual oscillators together, and then they all get sent to the the output. Sorry.
So 0 to 6 being the 7.
That's right.
Okay.
So in programmers start counting from 0.
Yes, I always forget that. Yeah.
But you'll get used to it before long. But here, there's 2 really complicated pieces of maths you need to do most DSP algorithms, and that is adding and timesing. And so there's adding. Adding is mixing. Right. Now we've got 7 of these oscillators now, so all I've done is I'm going to reduce this number a little bit lower, which reduces the gain. So in other words, I've just dropped the amplitude of the output so it's a bit quieter because we've got a lot more going on. And here's the other key bit. Setting this, basically we've got these 7 oscillators, they're all playing the same frequency at the moment.
We need to detune them.
Exactly, we need to detune them. So I'll create a variable that grabs the detune value from the UI, which is in controls 1. And then we'll use that, and instead of just F, which is the frequency of our note, the fundamental frequency, we'll times F by an amount which is close to 1, but deviates depending on which of the oscillators we're on. So don't worry about it if you don't follow the maths at the moment, but because that's what we teach on the course. Basically, I'm going to have a for loop that allows me to have this this iterator, this number that counts from 0 to 6, by starting at 0 and going through all of the numbers up to, but not including 7, so as long as it's less than 7.
Yeah.
And then I'll have a line of code which sets the oath, the oscillator. So the first time this loops around, it will set the first one, and the second one, and the third one, and so forth. But then I can also use O to control the amount of detune by timesing O by detune. So detune is going to be this really small amount, let's say, a percent.
Okay.
And then we want, basically, so this is a little tricky bit, we want to times it by some amounts which are below the original and some amounts that are above the original. So the first three are going to be times by -3 detune, -2 detune, -1 detune, 0 detune, 1, 2, 3. So that's why I've added -3 off there.
Okay.
Don't worry if you don't follow this. This is 3 hours of work.
I think I'm already getting a little bit lost,
Yeah.
but I think I'm with you.
Basic principle is that we are just slightly detuning
Got it.
some of those oscillators. Right, let's build and see if I've made any mistakes. I have made a mistake.
Okay. So what's happened here? It's sending us.
So this is the compiler output. So it gives you errors and warnings, and it's actually really, really helpful. It normally tells you what you've messed up.
Right.
So here it's telling me I've got my brackets wrong. Okay, and I think I've got too many brackets in there.
I see.
Yeah. So, right, let me just have a quick look over the code and let's see what that sounds like.
All right.
And so you can see the overlaid supersaws there. And there we go, that's our supersaw. And you see, very, very nice sound.
Very lovely sounds.
One last tweak I'm going to add to it before I perform with this is the oscillator is actually capable of being both a saw and a triangle. So this last dial allows us to change the timbre a little bit. Very, very simple.
Okay.
We just tie it to that control as part of the built-in feature. And so if I build that now,
so now we can use the pot to affect it.
see it's changed there, and we can change the amount of detune. So I think we have everything we need now for, basically this is a super saw. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up, be a nice little plucky sound at the start. I'm going to give a little delay and reverb. Basically, it's it's going to be in a proper mix. So we won't just have saw waves and sine waves and triangle waves. So nice, right?
Cool.
Let's give it a go. So what you can see here, I'm going to be varying those controls during the performance. You're going to see some lights as well, which just shows how we can program this to do whatever we like. And this is going to basically be a little son et lumière.
Awesome. That sounds like the original. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, well, this is what we learn on the course, basically. We learn those classic sounds and how they're made up, and some of them are really simple ideas. There's some really beautiful, clever ideas out there. And there's more complex things, and there's kind of the things on the horizon. So basically, it's literally unlimited creativity.
Incredible. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Pleasure.
That was awesome, and hopefully it's given our viewers a bit of an insight into the teaching on the course and what they can expect to learn, and also some of the equipment that you're going to be working with. So next up, it's time for our Q&A. I know we've had some questions come in, so thanks for sending those through to us. If you do have any more, now is the time, so get them in. But we'll start off with the question here from Johnny. I think Johnny's got a few questions actually. who'd like to know how long is a session, or I guess a class or a lecture?
So
we're looking at 3 hours, 4 hours?
Generally, there'll be 4 hours. They might be 3 hours with some online content. That's not 4 unbroken hours. There'll be breaks in there, and they'll be well structured between different activities.
Yeah.
With the small sessions that we have during, in the class, it's a really intimate, informal atmosphere, and it's a nice 4 hours.
Cool, awesome. Next up, we've got one here from Thomas, who wants to know, can I start this course from scratch, or do I need a certain level before beginning? I don't have any qualifications in coding. Will I be able to get work in the industry other than music, or is it just music specific? Yeah, I mean, you can start from scratch.
Absolutely. As I said before, people may not, in college, have had experience of computer science or coding, and they certainly probably wouldn't have had experience of audio programming. So we're not expecting anything, and we will start from scratch. There will always be ways, if you have had experience before, there'll be opportunities for us to push you and to keep it interesting, even in those early stages. But you do not need to have done anything. And it's not just, as I said it before, it's not just about music. You'll be an incredibly gifted, practiced, expert developer. That you'll be a C++ developer, you'll be a high-performance computing, live, anything you can think of. So signal processing, well, your signal could be a video, but anything really. And we'll be looking at web and things like that. So anything in technology and computing, you'll have the confidence, but also will give you the capacity to teach those things that we haven't taught you, to learn those things.
Cool, there you have it, Thomas. Next up was one from Lola, and I'll go over this, I mean, in terms of the general entry requirements for the degree itself. We're looking for 2 A levels at grade C would be the minimum entry requirements. And specifically for the Bachelor of Science, we need an English language GCSE at grade C and a maths GCSE at grade C.
Yeah.
So, based on those academic entry requirements, we should be able to make you an offer on the course. And the next thing that we really want to see is a passion. It's a passion for music. Obviously, ideally, if you have a passion for computers and software development and programming, and you've tried doing a bit of coding at home, you're trying to demystify the whole thing. That's the kind of student that we're looking for.
It's the will, and it's the kind of like, if you want a challenge. This will be a very rewarding challenge, and we will make it accessible. So even if you do find it, you want to do it, but you find it scary, we've designed the course so that it won't be scary for very long.
Absolutely. So next up, there's a couple here from Johnny. Do I need an A-level maths? No, you don't, Johnny. Just the GCSE at grade C. And is there a fast track route? So currently we only have the 3-year traditional sort of degree pathway. So that will be the only course available. I know we do offer some fast track routes for other courses, but not the music production and software engineering just yet.
Not yet.
Next up, there's one here from Jimmy Montgomery, who wants to know, are there any opportunities to learn other coding languages, or is it just all C++?
It's mainly C++ because of the professional emphasis. But, I mean, I did my undergraduate course basically taught a different programming language for every different module.
Oh,
and
really?
there's huge value in that. So all of the concepts that you'll learn here are very easily transferred. And the thing is that if you learn C++, going to a different language, a lot of them are C style, we call it. So JavaScript, Java, both C-like languages.
Right.
Even BASIC and things like that will be a doddle. And we will use different languages as we need them. So we will cover JavaScript in the web module. And when we're doing audio for games, if we use Unity, we use C#. So you will get a grounding, the ability with a lot of different languages.
Cool. Awesome. There you go, Jimmy. Next up, there's one from Jack, who wants to know, I've always wanted to make my own plugins. Do you also teach UI design on this course, or is it just the back end or the front end stuff as well?
No, absolutely. There is a little AI, but we still believe that the humans are pretty important in the process.
Totally, let's not forget about them.
So in that second year, when you were looking at synthesis, a big emphasis on that is the user, the artist, and how to design not just a UI, but your synthesizer so that you can get expressive results out of it easily. So we will be thinking about usability.
Yeah.
But then even more explicitly in the third year when we do the web audio and user interaction, that is actually almost entirely about user interaction design, usability and things like that. And so UI design is one part of that, the aesthetic, but the bigger picture is what's the experience? And so my background actually, my PhD was actually in user experience design and how to design music software that supported flow and immersive experiences. So yeah, you'll enter into the course at other places as well, just by osmosis.
Cool. We've got another one here from Jimmy. Are there opportunities to use AI on the course? Obviously, it's quite a hot topic at the moment.
So there's two ways to interpret this.
Yeah.
So yes, you can absolutely use AI on the course because it's an important programming tool. So there's obviously a lot of debate at the moment about the role of ChatGPT and its
You can't
impact
use it
on-
to write your assignments.
No.
No, you've got to do that yourself.
But in the industry is using it. So
Yeah.
you will learn how to use it. And so it kind of, for a professional programmer, ChatGPT is like you've got your own spare programmer. So we will teach you how to use it, and you will be encouraged and taught how to get the most out of it. But in terms of actual AI itself, that's what the emerging technologies module is. So in that third year, when we start looking at advanced technologies, AI is going to be a big part of that. And there's a lot of different applications for AI in music, from stem separation to anything, like coding or writing music. And basically, that will be a tour of a lot of different applications.
Cool. Awesome. I think there's one more from Boris the Beast. Great name. I'm not sure if it's a question, but it's cross-platform software developer would be choice. What can you decipher from that?
I think that is basically speaking to the principle in the course that we will absolutely be not wedding ourselves to one platform or technology, because technologies change over time.
Yeah.
C++ is obviously an important thing. There's a famous quote that says, "I don't know what the programming language of 2050 will look like, but I know it will be called C++." So it's going to stick around for a while. But everything else we teach you to be robust, and one of those things is the Mac is very big in the industry, and Windows is equally important. So you will learn to code on both, for both, but also everything else. So you'll be able to write iOS apps and Android apps and embedded systems and synthesizers. And so even when you look at a piece of hardware or a digital synthesizer, it's just a computer in disguise. So it's got code inside it, and you'll be able to make the innards of that.
Cool. Well, there you have it, Boris. I think that's all the questions we've received. So thanks very much for sending those through. And that pretty much wraps up our webinar for today. So I hope you've enjoyed it and it's given you a bit of a deeper dive insight to the course itself. Remember, if you do have any questions about it, get in touch with us. We'll be more than happy to answer those. But there's one last thing I'd like to share with you before we let you go. First of all, do apply for the degree. We've got our start date coming up in October. We're accepting applications right now. Get those in. For those of you thinking of applying through UCAS, the deadline is next week, the 29th of January, so there's not much time to go. Get your application in and the admissions team will pick that up and look to make you an offer. But we do also offer the option to apply directly. So if you want to complete your application form on our website and apply through that method, it's also available. But last but not least, I just wanted to share with you just a few examples of students that have come and studied with us and gone on to achieve great things through their studies at Point Blank. Essentially, the way that we want to be judged as a music school is through our successes. Ultimately, your success means our success. So yeah, do take a look at some of these previous students. We hope to see you on the course very, very soon. Thanks again, Chris, for your help today and for showing us your great little lead synth. Yeah, do get in touch. We hope to see you soon. All the best, take care, and good night.
All the best.
Just noise, white noise. Just Everybody feel it come around with the rhythm, it's a sound. Every feel it come around with round. Everybody feel it come around with the rhythm, it's a sound. Everybody get down when we give it to you.
Everybody feel it come around with round. Everybody feel it come around with round. Everybody feel it come around with round.
Everybody in the park. Everybody in the park. Everybody in the park. Everybody in the park. Everybody in the park.